Welcome to the first William Hill podcast this summer. It's the FWA in collaboration with William Hill, bringing you all the latest from the Nations League. I'm here in Porto with Simon Peach, Chief Football Writer for the Press Association. We've just been at the press conferences with Switzerland and Portugal ahead of their game on Wednesday evening. Simon, Portugal favourites for this tournament, narrowly ahead of England. Then we got the Netherlands and then Switzerland, the outsiders. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah, I mean, Portugal obviously being hosts is important. And the fact that they haven't had the players that have gone through the exertions of the Champions League final. And look, Switzerland is as kind of draw as you're going to get. And then you're halfway there and you've got the home support. So yeah, I'd have Portugal favourite. England second favourite. I think that's quite a big call because I think Holland's really impressive side, but I guess there are already 4 teams. So
yeah, I mean, obviously England play Holland on Thursday night, so we'll look at that one separately. Going on to tomorrow's, you do think on Wednesday night Portugal just too strong for Switzerland?
Yeah, look, people in this country will remember all too well what happened when they played Greece at Euro 2004.
Yeah.
So shocks can happen, but you look at the talent at Portugal side. Yes, there are a few areas where they are a little bit susceptible or weaker, but I mean the quality they've got. When you can call in João Felix and Diogo Jota, who've never played for their country, they're talents that would already be in the England side, or would have already been in the England side. And then you've got your Ronaldos and Bernardo Silva. Watching him in training today was probably my highlight of the last month. And I've been to the Champions League and Europa League final. The way he was controlling every pass was incredible. So I'm excited to see what they do tomorrow.
You mentioned Felix there. I mean, he's 19. He scored 18 goals for Benfica. Everyone's looking at him. He could be a next £100 million player, couldn't he?
Yeah, João Felix. Look, I was fortunate enough to watch him for Benfica under-19s against Manchester United under-19s in October 2017, and I remember then being blown away by this kid. But often you see kids that shine at that level and they never kick on, but this lad come on leaps and bounds, so there's lots of interest. United have tracked him before that under that youth league game and since Manchester City looking at him and all the biggest clubs in Europe, and you can't blame him because he's a special talent.
But of course, all eyes tomorrow. There's only one man everyone's come to see. It's Ronaldo, isn't it?
I thought you say Bernardo Silva.
But I mean, it hasn't been a stellar season for him in terms of winning trophies. But I mean, he showed he's still got it, hasn't he? In some of those games, Juventus, particularly in the Champions League, you know, he can still produce at the highest level.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would love to have him. You kind of forget how old he is, really, because he doesn't seem to physically age aesthetically or the way he holds himself on the pitch. I think he's done quite well for Juventus. I wouldn't mind winning the Italian Championship in my first season, and he's done well. Obviously the Champions League hasn't gone to plan, but he's one of few veterans of that side that hosted the European Championships, and he will be looking to right some wrongs.
And of course they are European champions. They've got that in their locker. Santos was talking about that, the coach today. You know, they've got a tremendous quality there. Do you think there's absolutely no chance for Switzerland tomorrow?
I'd be surprised. I know Switzerland have had some good results, but they had a weaker Nations League qualifying group than others. Iceland, who aren't the force they were at Euro 2016. Yes, of course, I think it was Belgium they got rid of, which is quite an impressive feat, but that was kind of fortuitous at the end, and there was more to do with momentum. So I'd be surprised. Xherdan Shaqiri is a star man, and obviously he's either going to be hungover or
very fresh.
Well, I know he's not had a lot of work to do this season, but I suspect he had a good time on that bus through Liverpool the other day, so it'll be interesting to see how he copes. I just feel that Portugal do have too much strength in depth. It's just what Fernando Santos will decide, because he seemed quite, I don't know what you thought, he seemed a bit snippy, a bit short in the press conference with the journalists. I don't know if that's just a standard approach.
May well be. And then, of course, the tournament is new. It was fairly controversial. We've all got behind it because England are in it now in the finals. And there's going to be a big crowd, isn't there? It's sold out tomorrow, I think. And you know, there's a lot of English already starting to arrive in Porto.
I'm surprised we can't hear them. They're getting quite boisterous in Porto town centre by the sounds of things. Look, I was one of the few people that thought it was a good idea, the Nations League, a chance for more competitive football against sides of a similar level. I do feel the finals, the organisations felt a bit rushed. I guess that's kind of natural, but I'm hoping that it doesn't feel like a bit of an anticlimax, because the group stage was so entertaining and so enjoyable for everyone. I think it's going to be a nigh on a sellout tomorrow. I think there's 12 or 15,000 England fans in Guimarães on on Thursday evening, and then up to 18,000-20,000 for the final. Should England get there? If it's a third place playoff, I suspect a few of them might
Not so many.
stay in the taverns of Porto
Yeah.
Town Centre. But it should be a good week, and I really hope at home it kind of captures the imagination as well.
And just the final word, because we've not long come from Madrid. Some of those players, the Spurs boys, will be very flat. Liverpool players obviously will have had a big lift, but then a couple of days of celebrating, as you say. Are they going to go straight in, do you think?
Well, I think Harry Kane, it was a big call in the Champions League final, and I think it's a big call again here, especially when you've had 2 or 3 weeks with a hungry Marcus Rashford, and he's going to be fresh. So whether it's a tough game, it's a tough decision, and I'm sure Gareth has been thinking about it. It has been a bit of a voyage into the unknown for him because he's had to deal with all this peculiar build-up. I mean, UEFA have kind of messed it up, I think, by having the semi-finals of the Nations League so close to the Champions League. And that is always going to have a knock-on effect. But I do believe that even if we rested some of those players against Holland, I still think we can still put in a competitive performance.
And of course, he was Golden Boot during the World Cup last year. Could he be top scorer in this tournament? I know it's only 2
Probably
games.
only need 2 goals. Yeah, you can do. But I mean, I think what the problem was with Tottenham in the final was he didn't have the service. I think there will be that service here. There's more pace and directness in the forwards that surround him. So you'd like to think they'd have more chance. And his link-up play has always been very good with England. So if he does get the nod, I think he'll do well. But as I say, Marcus Rashford isn't a bad fullback option, even if he did have a difficult end to the season with Manchester United.
Fantastic. Simon, thanks for your time. Keep coming back. We'll be doing more of these previews from the games over here in Portugal over the next few days.